Welcome back. This time it's going to be Chaac in the solo lane. Chaac is the god beginning with C, surprisingly. But Chaac is a warrior, and he's one of the best gods to really start out with if you're looking for warriors as his kit. Gives him pretty much everything he wants to do. He's got good damage, he's got good sustain, and he's also got an ultimate that gives good crowd control as well, and reduces damage he takes. So for the most part, he's one of the safest warriors to ever start with to learn to play. On a basic level, he's very easy to play, but at an advanced level, he can be a lot more offensive and cause a lot more issues in the game. So we're going to play this one through as Chaac, and we'll talk about him and his abilities. And the first thing you can see on your screen is this snake here with the little symbols missing, and that's all to do with his passive overflow. After 5 successful basic attacks, the next ability Chaac uses costs no mana. So landing auto attacks means that he doesn't need to use mana to expend his skills, which is very useful, because that means you're never really going to run out of mana, especially if you get something like Bluestone Pendant and a blue buff. It's like a field day of free mana for a Chaac player. Next up is going to be his axe, Thunder Strike. Now, pretty much, it's a Thunder Strike. How do I explain this? Well, I'll put a point to it first, because this is what you're going to max. And he throws the axe in a direction. And when it lands, it deals damage in that direction. You can place it on yourself or as far away as you can. You can also throw it over walls as well, as you can see around here. That's going to be the Thunder Strike. Does decent damage. Cheap on mana. And then the next one is going to be Torrent. Now what this does is it makes him spin on the spot in a big circle and cleave everything around in a big circle around him. However, if he's got his axe on the ground, he will teleport to the axe and deal damage in the circle around it. So it's able to be used as a teleport skill to get yourself out of a bad spot or position you found yourself in. Third ability is going to be Rain Dance. Now what Rain Dance does is it heals Chaac on himself. He's going to start raining all over him. And he gets a heal and protection, sorry, not protection from that, slows targets around that. If the axe is on the ground, it'll also slow people in that area as well. So you'll be able to throw the axe out and throw rain to slow the target that's trying to run away from you. And you're going to see me just chop down targets with these big auto attacks and your big axe. Very simple. Got my passive up, as you can see. So this next ability that I'm going to throw out of the one is going to be free. And your final ability is your ultimate, which we'll get to a little bit in the laning phase. But depending what you're against in the lane, depends what you really want to be necessarily maxing or skilling up second. Just depends on the situation. We're going to be against a Ra here. So it's pretty much going to be a farm lane here. The re-engage. Poke them down. They can burn. So the way you wave clear is Chaac, and the way you play this really is you're looking to throw out your axe and deal damage to the creeps to clear them. Eventually, when you get this maxed up, you'll deal enough damage to clear the wave in full. Don't be scared of taking some pokes. You've got Rain Dance online to cause some issues too. We've also got heals. Now I'll pop playing Torrent. You want to go aggressive here? I might die because I overplayed that. I actually misplayed a little bit, but I think Mercury should be able to get a kill there and trade this one back out, hopefully. No, he won't. He'll go down. That's just a bit unfortunate. So, in the wave, you're looking to throw out your axe. You can use this to teleport to it. Now, what I did wrong there was actually teleport to my axe, and I forgot my axe was on cooldown, was actually on the ground. So when I teleported, I put myself in a bad spot instead of just dealing free damage. So maxing your 1 deals damage, maxing your 2 gives you extra protections as well. So maybe if I'm struggling this lane, I might max my 2 instead, but I'll probably be maxing my 1 for the most part. Going to struggle in lane a little bit here, because it's not necessarily the easiest opponent to go against overall. So we're level 3, we're behind a little bit in the lane, but we can deal with this as we go forward. So even if you get denied and you fall behind a little bit, you're still Chaac and you're still tanky enough to withstand some damage. What we can talk about is going to be his ultimate, Storm Cold. Chaac charges his lightning axe and releases a blast of energy that silences them. Now while he does this, he uses CC immune. And he gets immunity frames for a few seconds on that. And it also reduces damage taken while he's up in there as well. Does silence the target for 3 seconds, which is quite a long silence when you think about it. Especially against a mage, who can't do too much. So we're mainly just looking to farm here. We can't really kill a Ra. We may eat some poke, but we'll be fine for the timing just to continue tanking up. Now this lane's pretty much a farm lane against a Ra, apart from because I died, I'm a bit of an idiot. Get a roll them online. He's beating me down with all these autos. So rude. But Lancer Autos would be pretty good at this game. But you can see that mana's not really a big issue. I'm still regenerating with Bluestone. I've got one mana pot which I took at the start, which I just pop now. But there's not else I can really do apart from just continue farming in this lane. You can see me use my ultimate there. It wasn't the best ultimate in the world, but what it did do was allow me to just silence them, make sure I didn't take too much more poke damage, and put the poke pressure back on them again. And everything's still fine in the lane. There's not overly worrisome about anything here at the moment. So, the main wave clear is the axes and your auto attacks. You can use Torrent to finish off the minions as well. You could be maxing that second, or you can max your rain down second. It just depends what you feel like you need more of, really. Dropping buffs down in the jungle. And even though you're behind this Chaac, you're still safe enough for you to farm and play safe overall. You're not going to die over and over again as a Chaac, unless you let that happen to yourself.
Enemy missing right. Run if you can.
Your cooldowns aren't exactly long either. So, overall with build, you're generally looking for the standard sort of warrior build. It will change, so don't worry so much about build as time goes on. As you can see, you're actually quite tanky and cause a lot of damage to the enemy as well. And if they don't respect that, they will die for it. Arn King's been a little bit too aggressive in this lane right now for his own good. And I will abuse that if I get the chance to.
There's no escape.
Shouldn't have eaten that though. Don't get hit by snipes. That's step one of how to play. It's Chaac. Don't get hit by snipes, because they hurt. Now I'm going to take my rain down second and start maxing that one up a little bit more. Just because I want the extra sustain coming out from it. I'm a little bit low on HP here, and I can go back to base soon, but what I want to do is just clear this wave out first before I go. And now I can go back to base here. After pushing the wave out, get my boots online. Now boots wise, I'm just going to go for power here. You can go for other boots as well. Depending on build and what you're against, depends what your build is, but we're not really looking at builds here, we're just looking at how to play Chaac for the most part. In the solo lane, you're just looking to farm up. As the game goes on though, we'll see how this one plays out and what we can do in terms of teamfight potential. Now in teamfights, you can focus a target and be quite tanky to deal with them. At the same time, is forced to silence onto targets, decent damage with your Thunder Strike as well. All good stuff to cause issues for the enemy team. We'll have to rotate here because I think
Enemy missing right.
pull out the slow, which is fine. Not worried about taking a little bit of poke damage. I can heal that back up if I need to. We're really looking at continuing to farm up more than anything else. A little bit too much poke taken there though. And the gank came in. That's my own fault for not actually having a ward over there. I should have had a ward and would have been fine. Now, things to note about Chaac as well. You don't necessarily need to get beads on Chaac, which a lot of gods generally want beads. You don't really need it on Chaac just because he's so tanky normally, and Stormclaw gives you the immunity and reduce the damage taken as well. But when you get ganked, there's not a whole lot you can do. Apart from buy wards, which I didn't do, which is my own fault overall.
Be careful, right. Your left tower is under attack.
This won't be the best game of Chaac you'll ever see. I mean, honestly, I'm against one of the pro players, so that kind of happens sometimes. When you're against them, you sometimes lose games. Especially when you're playing gods that you don't normally play all the time. And he's on one of his mains, so not all bad. Still looking to farm though. I just want to kill the creeps! Please! I don't want to get hit by that, that's just rude.
Your right tower is under attack.
Just want to farm. Show people what farming's like in this lane, aren't King, please? Yeah, he's too big for me to really fight anymore.
Enemy missing. Enemy have returned.
Well, he expected me to juke, and I did, but I didn't juke perfectly where he wanted me to. My blue buff is available. I do want to take it. There's not a whole lot I can do for the time being. I can still farm safely from range if I want to. And I might start doing it this time around, although he's very, very low mana right now. And I do have the benefit of my passive, but I'm probably going to get ganked. As you can see, he's trying to save up and play safe here. That means I'm probably going to get ganked soon. Let's put this ward down.
Your left tower is under attack.
And he'll get his blue buff as well, so...
Run, hide, and walk in darkness.
Just going to throw an axe over the wall here, get some experience there too.
Escape.
Hopefully, maybe not, not sure, we'll see. And as you can see, my axe is now starting to do enough damage. It's just going to clear out
Has been slain.
the wave a lot quicker. It's a fight in mid lane. I'm going to try and rotate for this a little bit. I might not get a kill, but what I can do is steal away these.
Triple kill. Enemy missing right.
And even though I was blind, I was looking more than anything else to get off my ultimate and support my teammates. I knew Ra might rotate with that one too. But I did get mid harpies for free. Get a kill and go back to the lane and continue farming here. You can see how much my axe can do in terms of damage. For wave clear with blue buff and being Chaac, you can push pretty hard as well on towers. I struggled in the early game because I let myself struggle really with some mistakes I made in the lane. Just gonna back away for a second, throw my axe out one more time, wait for the next minion wave, and drop this a little bit more. Should be able to kill the tower in one go, maybe. You can see I can bring targets down. Oh, I'm going to get this one too, I think. Maybe not. Maybe. I didn't need to get both, but I got one. That's enough. And as you can see, Chaac is quite tanky. Do be careful. Let's go spend this gold now. Oops, if I can spell properly. So, like I said, even though you're playing Chaac and you lose the lane early, you are still very, very tanky. You can still fight for long periods of time, depending on how you skill your god, depends what he can do. Like, I went for the healing option. I could have potentially gone for the protections option, which would have also helped me, and it would have done more damage than the slow would. In fairness, maybe the protections would have been better in this, but it's worked out okay for me so far. I've managed to take down the tower and put the pressure on in this lane now. Taking down the tower allows me to be able to rotate a little bit more, support the team. Sometimes I'll make mistakes like that and we'll find ourselves kills. Now with the tower being down, I can pressure mid again. Mid harp is going to spawn. I'm going to rotate right, straight back right here. These are spawning at the same time, so I'm going to quickly throw this out. And then back to lane once again. Now, see how I could go all the way back? See how far away I could get with my 2? You can go a long distance. If you notice the axe on the ground, underneath your character here, it will show you how long it's lasting. Can you see this little circle here? This little circle shows you how long you've got before you can teleport back away again. So you want to be trying to keep an eye on that throughout the game, because that's how long you've got left. Slows are strong. Look over the one by me. I'm not too worried. Still Chaac, remember? I'm taking a lot of poke though, and they CC me up pretty well here. And I will go down from just being overly aggressive, and a gank comes in. That's my own fault more than anything else. Makes me feel happy though, because Iron King needs the help to get a kill on me, so that's okay. I'm alright with this.
Your right tower is under attack. Make it up.
Enemy missing right. Enemies have returned to base.
Your right tower is under attack.
Enemy spotted.
Enemy missing middle. An enemy has been slain.
Oh my god, you rock.
Enemies at the Gold Fury. Cancel that.
Oh, they're not the go fuel. That's good. I can get my blue buff then.
Attack middle lane.
Now I might take teleport here. You don't necessarily have to get beads, like I said, on Chaac. So I might take teleport so I can keep split pushing and rotate to these fights. What I will do though is clear this wave very, very quickly before I leave.
There is no escape.
And now we'll start rotating as well. My team's all grouped up on this side of the map, so I can just go a little bit aggressive on this side, I guess. Put some pressure on elsewhere.
Destroy the left enemy tower.
I'm going to rotate over for the Gold Fury as well, so to push that lane in. My team should get gold, but I can farm on mid lane at the same time. I can still get there for the fight if they need me.
There is no escape.
I'm returning to base.
On my way. Thanks.
So I'm looking to stack here now. Try and get the last hits as many as I can. So I can get my Ancile stacked up, which gives me a nice cooldown reduction as well.
That's too bad. Curses. Sorry.
The fight on left lane, careful left. I think he needs some help over there. We're all going to rotate over as well. Keep farming as we go, don't forget.
Incoming. Enemy ultimate incoming.
That's rude.
I walk in darkness. An enemy has the stream is collapsing. There is no escape.
You can see by maxing my heal, I'm healing quite a lot now this time round. So my team wanted to try and pressure the left hand side. I'm going to stick with them. They want the Phoenix, they feel they can get it, but it is against a Ra here, so it's not that easy. Phoenix should go down, hopefully. Hit the Phoenix, anybody? Hit the Phoenix. Oh, don't hit the Phoenix!
I feel no pain. Your team has destroyed a left enemy Phoenix. Shut down.
Everyone's too busy fighting and not looking at the Phoenix, which is an issue. But hey, it's fine. Nothing will stop me. For now. So as you can see with Chaac, it's kind of simple. What you're supposed to be trying to do. Throw your axe to deal damage. Use it to jump to if you need to teleport in. You've got your ultimate for CCs for engagement with your big silence. We might struggle at this fire giant here, but I'm going to turn up and see what I can do to defend.
Attack.
You can still keep going here. Not too worried about taking some. They've got no health. This is hurting a little bit. Now I threw my axe over the wall, as you can see, to give myself an escape route. Medusa stayed on me with her ultimate, so I had to jump over. I could have jumped over straight away, and I think I should have done. Was the biggest mistake I made in that little engagement overall. But other than that, it wasn't the worst play in the world. Now remember though, if you do have an axe, people can play against your axe. And realise where you're going to teleport to. That's kind of what happened in that engagement, honestly, is Arm King was aware where I was going to go. Now Chaac does have very good damage on him, but he's mainly a frontline and he wants to stay in the engagement. Take into account that he's going to be melee heavy. He wants to use the axe for damage, of course, but using his auto attacks allows him to build up that passive so he can get free abilities off. So he wants to get in and amongst the action as much as possible. So in doing so, trying to get in and amongst the action, you've got to make sure you do build him slightly on the tanky side. You can go slightly squishy if you want to, but if you do go squishy in terms of build, you can cause yourself a couple of issues in terms of survivability in the engagements. You can kind of see that with the build I've got right now. It's a little bit on the damage side. Let's just reset that one for a second, I think, because they're all coming in. The goon squad is on their way. We're not scared of taking some damage, because we can still regen it back up in the engagements. We can still stay in this fight. We're still quite tanky enough to cause some issues. Apart from if we get punched in the back by that guy there. Stuck around a little bit too long then, I think. Sun Touch went to stack. We could talk about the Phoenix that he decided to ignore and go for kills instead. And that could be the reason why you got the team into this sort of position. But hey, we won't do that. We're focusing on our own play and talking about Chaac this time round.
Your middle tower is under attack.
So we're still in this game, then getting the Fire Giant and the Golf Fury is not being very good for us in all fairness. It's caused us a few issues. I could teleport in on that Golf Fury, but I'm not sure if I feel it just now. I'm going to try and stay with the team and group up for the most part right now.
Toward the fire giant! I will ward! There is no escape. Run! Run if you can.
Careful, right?
Be careful!
So you put some poke pressure on. I'm not going to all in now. He wants to ult me. I'm okay with that. I don't think I need to teleport, so I won't. I'm out of the engagement for now, with pressured mid lane as well.
There is no escape.
They're a Fire Giant.
Be careful. I feel.
We'll be back in time for that one if they need me to.
Defend
Defend
the
the
fire
fire
giant.
giant! No problem, no problem.
An enemy has been slain. Double kill! Like that shot!
Attack right lane! Please?
So teleporting in, I didn't really have to do anything there. My X was a little bit delayed, but it's all good still. Because of my build as well, I'm actually quite tanky, so I can lead the frontline charge if I need to. Don't worry about taking poke.
Right enemy hit. Destroyed a middle enemy tower. There is no escape. Make you up. There is no escape.
Might die to that. Think I will. I went aggressive then because I felt we had more follow-up with my silence, but I guess my team had disengaged a little bit too hard than I did. We did get the Phoenix out of it because we pushed him back again with the Fire Giant, and so my job is done there for the most part.
Double kill. Your team destroyed a left enemy.
And that all in all is going to be a little look at Chaac. Use your axe for farming, auto attacks to stack your passive so you don't consume too much mana. Your decision on your 2 or your 3 can always be different, Torrent or Rain Dance, depending whether you want the sustain from the heals and the slow, or you want the extra protections in the dueling. And then obviously your ultimate Storm Call. Nice damage, big area with a silence, 3-second silence as well. Just try and use it for engagement and being on the front line. Don't be scared to die a little bit in the engagements, just make sure your teammates are with you, and you will come out on top. I expect my team to end there, so it's kind of like a closing speech, and that's not going to be... It's not going to be the end, so you get to see a little bit more of this Chaac play. Now, just a few other things to mention. Chaac doesn't necessarily need Hog. You can get through the early game and not be pushed too hard, depends against the god. You don't have to take Hog on Chaac. You could potentially go for something else, but Hog really does help him out a little bit in the early stages against mages or hard pushes. And if you don't trust your teammates with the Hog 3 at the Golf Fury, you can be Golf Fury and the Fire Giant, you can be looking to steal that one yourself. and builds will always change as time goes on, but the god himself will pretty much remain the same for a while. He's very strong, he's very easy to play at a base level, but he's very difficult to master as well. Most gods are very difficult to master.
He's got the killing spree.
3 in a row makes the killing spree.
And this should be pretty much the end of the game for Chaac. We'll do one more wave here. And then we'll go over to the Titan and do a final ultimate of excitement. Oh, I'm yawning. I'm sleeping. Bay caught me sleeping. That's in the Chaac. That's a little look at Chaac for you going forward.